Hello, this is Mr. Red Fox, and this is my first new video in a while. I'm still working on the re-review of Fallout New Vegas, but I got hit with a ton of fucking new games. And those have kind of monopolized my time. I will eventually upload the re-review of Fallout New Vegas. But before that, let's talk about what the title of this video is. I recently got back into Star Wars SWTOR The Old Republic. Star Wars The Old Republic. And, playing it again, I realize that it's not perfect. It has some issues that I wish they would address in, if they do a Star Wars The Old Republic 2. And these issues are fundamental to the design of Star Wars The Old Republic. It's not something that could really be addressed in just, content patches and updates and stuff like that. So, while I was playing this game with one of my alternate characters, I was thinking to myself, I said, Self, wouldn't it be cool, wouldn't it be absolutely cool if we could play, if there were certain things in a idealized ultimate Star Wars MMO. So, I came to the realization that that would be cool, and I wish they did it. And then I also came to the realization that this wouldn't be a short video. It would be, multiple parts. So, without much ado, let's get into part one of me describing what, in my mind, I would like would be ideal in the ultimate Star Wars MMO. So, without much ado, this first part will focus mainly on the setting and a general overview of what's going on. The part after that, I will go into classes and stuff like that. So, let's get to it after the cut. So, I can't talk about the setting and the general overview without first going over some of the issues that I have with SWTOR. SWTOR's limitation, its biggest limitation is it is essentially a World of Warcraft clone, in my opinion. Instead of the Alliance and the Horde, you have the Republic and the Empire, and you're dealing with, for me, having the Empire as a faction, as a playable faction, is kind of suspect. And the reason I consider it suspect is because the Empire are essentially space Nazis. It would be the equivalent of having a World War II MMO where one of the factions is Nazi Germany. Why the fuck would you want to play as a fucking Nazi? And I know everyone's going to be like, well, dude, it's just a game. Yeah, but, the Empire are literally space Nazis. They're racist, they're racist, they're xenophobic, they're ultra corrupt, they're greedy, they're backstabbing. Now, to be fair, the Republic has its own issues as well. It's a weak, corrupt central government where they make too many compromises on individual rights, stuff like that. But it's there are certain things they don't do where there's a whole bunch of stuff where I'm like, that's not cool. And I just don't like playing as space Nazis. But anyway, so the setting of SWTOR is set 300 to 400 years after the events of Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2. So technology has moved forward a little bit, but not so much that, stuff still isn't going on. As a matter of fact, a big main story point of SWTOR is that Revan has been in some type of force coma being used as a conduit by the Emperor. It's some convoluted bullshit that BioWare Austin came up with. That, frankly speaking, to me is just a load of horse shit. But that's neither here nor there. Here's my idea for the setting of a future of my ultimate Star Wars MMO. So I would have it be set like maybe like 400 years after the events of SWTOR, okay? Because SWTOR itself takes place like 2,000 years before the events of the original trilogy, so you still have a lot of time where there's different things going on. I would have it set in the setting would be a fractured republic, where many of the member worlds said, we have lost faith in the Republic, we're going to do our own thing. And the Sith Empire is crumbled. You know, there might be individual territories that still hold to that, but the Sith Empire as a whole has crumbled because ultimately, the dark side of the Force turns on itself. It crumbles, it falls apart, because it's concerned with destruction. Destruction is easy, but it doesn't build anything that lasts. So anyway, so the setting would be, you'd have this time period where you would essentially be able to go to different member worlds. After a long time has passed, progress has gone forward. Things have changed. The Republic has lost a lot of its member worlds, and essentially, you can play as an individual, neither light side, dark side, Republic nor Empire. You're just a person just trying to make their way in the world. Now, I will go into in a later part how I envision classes work. But I think the idea of a single class, you can only choose one class, and that's it, and you're kind of stuck with those abilities. I think that's kind of stupid. I think that you should have classless progression. And then you just have skills associated, like certain skills get a boost to certain classes, but you can basically do whatever the hell you want in terms of classes. So you could conceivably have a gunslinger who, your primary, you could have a gunslinger who also happens to be pretty wicked in hand-to-hand combat. And it would be a viable build. And vice versa. But anyway, back to the setting. So the game would basically, like the opening area, no matter what class you choose, what race you choose, you're always going to start out, you're going to be able to choose your background of your character, which is going to determine what your starting planet is and what your beginning skills are. So your background could be something like you're a soldier from this planet, and something happened, and you were marooned on a planet with your unit, and you had to make the best way. And by the time your reinforcements came to back you up, the war was over, and you realized that you kind of lost faith. So you're an ex-soldier. So like your base stats would be X, Y, or Z, and your starting area would be that area. And like the whole big impetus in the beginning of the game, no matter which planet you start on, is basically getting to the point where you can leave the planet. So it's going to be you going around the planet doing side quests to get a ship. Okay? The big thing is for you to be able to get a ship. You're going to get a ship early on in the game. Now, the ship, either getting paid with a ship or stealing a ship, it's going to depend on what your character's background is and what their basic. Like I said, I want it. Basically, it's going to be determined by how you want to go about getting a ship and the choices you make. So the game is going to be an MMO, but they're going to take a lot of cues from like single player RPGs in terms of character progression for solo gameplay. But yeah, the setting you'd have kind of like a broken, shattered republic where everyone's doing their own thing, and where the more nefarious elements, galactic warlords, are starting to carve out niches of territory. And you know, if you choose to, you can choose to help out what's left of the Sith Empire, like more darker territories that are like, yeah, we're going to reestablish the Sith Empire, or you could help bring those worlds back from the Republic back under the Republic's fold. And unlike SWTOR, which is built around just this constant events and shit like that, I could see a setting where things that happen in the game are permanent. Like, if a planet joins the Republic, they're joined on the Republic. That doesn't mean that there won't be hostile enemies of an opposite faction, but they're going to be much diminished. And maybe have that reset once a year, where like the planet turns into a battleground again. So for a year, in-game year, let's say that's like 3 months. So an in-game year, that's 3 months. For 3 months, a planet is under this faction or controlled by this this group or whatever. Because, I mean, it doesn't make sense that you can have everyone playing through these storylines doing the same shit and the world just stays static. It's kind of ridiculous. But those are my thoughts on the setting. Tell me what you think. Rate, comment, share, subscribe. I have another video coming up where I'm going to give my take on what would have been an idealized art style for ActRaiser Renaissance. So with that being said, that's the end of this video. You can reach me email, Twitter, Gmail, Discord. All that stuff's in the description. So with that being said, that's the end of the video. Rate, comment, subscribe. Peace.